One of the single most common questions I get asked is, Sven, how do I spot a narcissist? How do I spot what you call, Sven, an extreme taker? I've been in so many relationships and it seems like it gets so far down the road and everything's just this flying shit show before I finally realize how bad it is. And what I tell them is, you're asking the wrong question. And they're like, what the hell does that mean? If you're asking, how do I spot a narcissist, you're asking the wrong question. The question you need to be asking always, every minute, every day, every year is, how does this feel to me? See, the truth is, the reason someone becomes a full-blown extreme taker, a full-blown crazy person, a full-blown hater or hurter of you is because way back in the beginning, or right after the wedding, or at some point in the relationship, maybe it was 5 years in, maybe it was right away, they did something that hurt you, and either A, you weren't tuned into it, or B, you let it go, or C, it just flew right by, or D, you hoped it would just go away. Whatever it was, they hurt you. Very often a small way. It doesn't start big, it starts small, and you missed it. You, hence, allowed it. So then they did it a second time. Then they did it a 14th time and an 88th time, and it grew and it grew and it grew. The question you always need to be asking is, how does this feel to me? So if you're in a relationship with someone, maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a boss, a coworker, or a lover, and they do something and it doesn't feel good, you have to A, have the awareness that this doesn't feel good, and B, you have to have the courage to stand up and say, no, can't treat me that way. It's not okay. And then all you have to do is sit back and watch how they respond. Do they deny, deflect, defend, or dodge? If so, you're dealing with someone who 1 year, 2 years, 20 years down the road is going to be a giant problem. And if you allow it right now, when it first starts, whenever that may be, at the beginning of the relationship, 7 years in, whenever, if you allow it then, it will only grow. Small things become big things. But here's the problem. You've been conditioned to not be tuned into your own voice. Somewhere back in your own childhood, you became what I call an extreme giver. You became someone who was told to turn off their inner voice, their feelings, their intuition, their own senses, their own wants, their own needs. You were taught to turn it off because somebody else's voice and feelings and wants and needs mattered more than you. Maybe you've been walking on eggshells your whole life. Maybe you've been giving and giving and giving and giving because that's what was modeled for you, for how to get a little bit of love in return. Whatever it is, you got some messages, either explicit or implicit, that you perhaps can't even say, not just about your voice, but about your worth and your value as a person. And that has caused you to not listen to your own voice, or even to distrust your own voice. A dominating, controlling parent who's always telling you what to do is telling the child, don't trust your own voice. So that seems great for the adult. I get to control, and that keeps my anxieties down. But for that kid growing up who's now in their mid-20s and trying to get into a relationship, or is now in their 30s or 40s, they don't trust their own inner voice. So when they get hurt, they ignore it. And that's the problem. So you see, the person getting hurt isn't the origin, the creator of the pain. They're simply allowing it. By allowing it the first time and the fourth time and the 28th time, you're allowing something to grow that doesn't feel good. So it's not about spotting the narcissist out here. It's about spotting inside of you in all of your interactions in life when something doesn't feel good, whether it's big or small, and having the courage to stand up and say no. So are you tuned into yourself? Are you aware, or are you letting it go, hoping they'll change? You don't even see the red flags, or it's like, oh, it's no big deal, or I really want them to like me, so I'll ignore it. Are you doing those things in the beginning of your relationship, or even in the middle of your relationship? Because if you are allowing a cancer to metastasize that turns into that narcissist, that extreme taker that ends up sucking the very life out of you. So when do you have the courage to go back and heal that childhood? And if you need tools for that, I've written a book, There's a Hole in My Love Cup. I've got 800 plus free videos that you can use as journaling prompts. I got a free podcast, The Badass Counseling Show. I've just written another book, Badass Wisdom. All of these to help you tune into your own self so that you can live a more deliberate and hence peaceful and happy life. Are you ready? Have a kick-ass day.